It sounds bizarre, almost like an old wives' tale pouring dairy over your crops, but the truth is, this strange experiment has deep roots. Some gardeners swear by it, others dismiss it as a waste, so we put it to the test right here in the Hydro Haven garden. 30 full days of watering with diluted milk, real soil, real plants, real results. And here's the catch, it wasn't all good, but it also wasn't all bad. This wasn't a splash-and-go gimmick. We applied milk with purpose, measured changes, watched for disease, monitored root growth, and kept a close eye on the soil. If you're curious whether milk can actually benefit your plants, or if it's just another garden myth, stay with us. Because what we discovered could change how you view this common kitchen staple forever. Let's break it down. What happens when you water your garden with milk for 30 days straight? Before pouring milk into the soil, we knew moderation was key. Undiluted milk can sour, rot, and clog the soil. So we created a 1-to-10 ratio, 1 part milk to 10 parts water. This was applied once per week, just enough to supplement without overwhelming the plants. We used whole milk for its higher nutrient content and monitored 2 test beds, one with the milk solution and one with plain water. Both had the same soil structure, plant types, and sunlight exposure. Over the month we tracked changes in leaf color, fungal resistance, growth rate, root development, and overall soil condition. Why milk? Because it's more than just white liquid. Milk contains calcium, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, and trace proteins. These nutrients, when broken down, can support plant growth in small doses. But the key was discovering where it helps and where it doesn't. In the first week, changes were minimal, but by the second and third applications, something started to shift. Plants in the milk-watered bed showed deeper green foliage and slightly firmer leaves. The tomatoes held their blooms longer. The squash vines developed a more even spread across the bed, suggesting a boost in root strength. Digging just a few inches down, the soil in the milk-treated bed felt more alive. Finer feeder roots were spreading outward. There was no visible compaction. The initial signs pointed to improved calcium availability, a critical mineral for cellular structure in plants. For crops prone to blossom end rot, like tomatoes and peppers, this can make a noticeable difference. By week 3, the real test came. We had early signs of powdery mildew starting to show on our zucchini. One bed, treated only with water, developed a light coating on the leaves. But in the milk-treated bed, the mildew didn't take hold. In fact, it receded. This wasn't a coincidence. Milk's antifungal properties are well documented, especially in controlling powdery mildew. It's believed that proteins in milk, when exposed to sunlight, release oxygen radicals that kill fungal spores on contact. We sprayed the diluted milk solution directly on leaves once a week in addition to watering the soil. After 30 days the difference was clear. The milk-treated plants stayed mostly mildew-free, while the untreated ones had to be pruned back. Now let's talk problems, because yes, there were a few. First, the smell. After a week of heat and repeated milk watering, the garden began to develop a faint sour odor. It wasn't overwhelming but noticeable enough in the mornings. This got worse when watering too close to the base of certain plants where air circulation was limited. Second, pest attraction. Slugs became more active around the treated beds. We suspect the sugar and protein content left behind by the milk solution created a subtle attractant. Fortunately, a light sprinkle of crushed eggshells and wood ash helped reduce their numbers, but it's a point worth noting. And finally, we had to be cautious with overwatering. Even diluted, milk can clog the soil's natural aeration if applied too often. Once a week was plenty. More than that, and we risked anaerobic pockets forming, which could encourage rot. After 30 days, we pulled a soil sample from both beds and did a basic structure test in water. The milk-treated soil had developed richer coloration and slightly improved aggregation. The particles clumped better, suggesting enhanced microbial activity and humus development. This aligned with what we observed above ground: stronger roots, more vibrant growth, and resilience to disease. It seems milk, used sparingly and intelligently, can stimulate biological activity in the soil. It's not just about feeding plants, it's about feeding the soil community that supports them. If we were to do it again, and we will, there are a few things we'd change. First, we'd spray more leaves than soil. The antifungal effects were more pronounced on foliage than in root zones. Second, we'd avoid watering with milk on days above 90 degrees to minimize smell and spoilage. Third, we'd keep the applications to once every 2 weeks, instead of once a week, to allow the soil time to fully process the organic material. And finally, we'd experiment with different types of milk. Skim milk, for instance, may offer similar benefits with less fat, reducing the risk of odor and bacterial buildup. The answer is yes, with limits. When diluted and used with care, milk offers a unique blend of nutrients, disease control, and biological stimulation. It's not a miracle fertilizer and it won't replace compost or balanced soil practices, but it's a surprisingly effective supplement, especially for leafy crops, nightshades, and any plant vulnerable to fungal attacks. More importantly, it proves that sometimes unconventional methods can yield very real results, if applied thoughtfully. So if you've got a spare jug of milk and some struggling squash or tomatoes, consider giving it a try. Just don't overdo it. Nature thrives on balance, not excess. If you found this experiment useful, don't forget to subscribe to Hydrohaven. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with a fellow gardener who's not afraid to get a little weird in the garden. We've got more experiments, tips, and soil-smart solutions coming your way every week. Keep growing and keep questioning. That's how great gardens are born.